Hello, I'm Karl Wiegers, author of Successful Business Analysis Consulting, Strategies and Tips for Going It Alone. This is the fourth in a series of videos sharing some powerful advice from the book. I've worked with about 130 clients in my years as a consultant and trainer. Nearly all have been easy to work with, but a few have given me headaches. This episode relates some client problems to watch out for. Several consultants I know have been stiffed by one or two of their clients. They simply never paid for services rendered. This has happened to me just once. I've come close a couple of other times, though. A client once owed me a lot of money for a 2-week European seminar tour I did, but I couldn't get them to pay me. Finally, a check arrived, but no one had signed it. I had to call the president of the company to get paid. That's just ridiculous. On 2 occasions, customers outside the U.S. ordered products from me, but never paid the invoice after I sent them the product. I've also had problems when I had to go through a subcontractor to do work for a company. Payment might come late, and once it didn't look like it was going to come at all. I had to get a lawyer involved. These kinds of problems might lead you to change your business practices. For instance, now I request payment at the beginning of a training course, not at the end. Some consultants ask to get a portion of their fee, say 50%, in advance. And I don't ship products to people outside the United States now until I've received their payment. It's a shame that just a few unscrupulous people make life difficult for everybody else. There are a very few clients that I won't work with again for various reasons. Some dragged their feet on paying me, like I just described. With others, I had too many problems with contracting or invoicing, like invoices that disappeared simply because one particular individual changed jobs. A few had incredibly slow or erratic decision-making. If the opportunity arises and you need the income, you'll probably just bite your tongue and tolerate difficult clients. But if you have the luxury of having enough work, it sometimes makes sense to say thanks but no thanks when certain clients call you again. You might encounter a client with questionable ethics at some point. I create a written agreement for each consulting engagement. A prospective client once asked me to state in the agreement that I'd be performing a certain kind of work because that's what they had funding for. However, I'd really do something different while I was on site. This seemed unethical. What if a senior manager had discovered this? I probably wouldn't get paid and I wouldn't get hired again. Maybe I could even be sued. If someone asks you to lie about the work you're doing, watch out. I turned down this invitation and never dealt with that company again. Being ethical in professional dealings applies to consultants as well as to clients. While I worked at Kodak before I became a consultant, my team needed to bring in a database consultant for some short-term help. I spoke to the consultant we were considering and asked how much experience he had in that area. "I haven't done that before," he said, "but I can learn along with you." I didn't like that answer. It seemed unethical for him to charge us $1,200 a day for him to learn alongside us. We found a different consultant who knew what he was doing. It's not fair to the client or to you to take on a gig if you aren't a good fit for the job. A friend of mine named Sam pointed out that when you've lost hope of having any effectiveness with a client, it's time to move on. You should also bail if a company is abusing or taking advantage of you in any way. Sam once consulted for a company that practiced what he termed management by rage. A manager there raged at Sam for 20 minutes one day, accusing him of trying to take the manager's job, but Sam didn't want the manager's job at all. Somewhat shaken, Sam quit the consulting engagement. Unfortunately, a very few clients simply are not worth the aggravation they cause. Try to identify them early and make your escape. Check out the other videos in this series for more tips drawn from my book, Successful Business Analysis Consulting. The book contains a lot more information about each of these topics. Even if you're not a business analyst, and even if you're not now an independent consultant or planning to be one, you'll find a lot of useful information here.